To all the non-believers, 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 non-believers. I'm making that.
What's up, y'all? This is Jay Varsity, and welcome back. And I mean back. We are back with NBA Talk Playoff Edition. We're gonna be talking about the playoff matchups, and I'm gonna be making my playoff predictions. Man, I just want to take a second to say that I'm glad to see that we're gonna have playoff basketball. Oh my God, it feels like Christmas morning, man. Like this is just something that I've been long awaiting. I didn't think it was gonna happen. I was having my doubts. I'm pretty sure we were all having our doubts, but I'm just glad we're finally getting playoff basketball. Eh, let's just enjoy that we're having this. And anyway, yeah. Aside from other things, I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves and all that. And so let's get on with the playoff matchup. So I'm just gonna knock this out, and I'm just gonna go through the Eastern Conference real quick. All right, I don't think there's much debate. I'm just gonna go right on ahead and say it. Bucks 4-0. The I don't think the Orlando Magic pose even remotely as a threat. Milwaukee should assert their dominance right from the jump. They shouldn't have any problem with Orlando. Giannis is gonna do his thing. Chris Middleton, the rest of the team, they're going to show their dominance on the defensive end. I don't think there should be any such threat from the Orlando Magic. But who knows? They were able to steal a game from Toronto last year, but I still believe that Milwaukee is just that much dominant of a team that they shouldn't lose a game to Orlando. Okay, now on to the next matchup in the Eastern Conference. Same. I'm gonna have to go same with Toronto and Brooklyn. Not as much a sweep because I'm gonna give Brooklyn their credit. They are a very scrappy team, even though they have not even a third. What is it? Barely a third of their team. They're able to claw out and battle it out with teams. So I'll give them their credit, but then again, you are playing the defending champs in the first round. So I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna say 4-0 Raptors. Karis LeVert, he might have a night in the series where he's having a good game, but I just think too much defensively and collectively, the Toronto Raptors are just that good of a team. They're very well coached. Kyle Lowry is a very good floor general. Pascal Siakam has grown into an elite offensive player, at least in my eyes. And Fred VanVleet is just such a crafty guard. It's just you think you have him under control, and then all of a sudden he just manages to slip by you some way, somehow. It's just unbelievable when you watch this Raptors team play. And a lot of people have really counted them out ever since Kawhi left, and they've been doing just fine. And I think they ended up with a better record than they did last year. So that just goes to show you how great of a team this Raptors team actually is. Sorry if I stuttered a little bit. Now the next matchup I'm gonna have to say is the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, if Ben Simmons were healthy coming into this series, I would be a little bit, I would have somewhat of confidence that Philly could pull off an upset against Boston because of how great Philly is defensively. Offensively is still a little iffy, but Joel Embiid so far when it came to the regular season against Boston, he actually played pretty well, and Philly is actually was actually one of those low key dark horse teams because they're so great defensively, and then they can have moments where they're just so explosive, but then it's like you're waiting for when they're gonna be explosive. That's the problem. And then Boston has just so many wing players that could get their own shot. That between Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward, Marcus Smart. They could get their own shot, and any one of them could put up 30. And then and not even to mention Kemba Walker, who's an elite scoring guard. They could all each put up 30 on any given night, and that's just what's gonna be a problem. The disadvantage for Boston is their big men, which is where I say Joel Embiid should be dominating, because to me, Enes Kanter or Daniel Tice shouldn't be able to contain Joel Embiid, but it all depends on Joel Embiid's health. If Joel Embiid's not healthy, then I wouldn't see such dominance. But if I had to give my take, if Ben Simmons were healthy, I would say Sixers in 6. But since they're not, and since Joel Embiid's even banged up, I'm gonna probably go Boston in 6. I'm probably gonna go Boston in 6 because it's just health matters. Health matters, and right now the Philadelphia 76ers health is like really haven't been on their side. So I'm gonna say Boston in 6. And now the Miami Heat and the Indiana Pacers. I am a Miami Heat fan, and in the past few years, I've truly despised the Indiana Pacers. Ever since I've never liked the Pacers since probably 2012. I've hated the Indiana Pacers, but not as much as I hate the Celtics. But and in this aspect, with the whole they tried to hype up the whole Jimmy Butler, TJ Warren thing. That died down real quick. That shit died down real quick. I'm gonna go Miami 4-1. I'm gonna go Miami 4-1. Even though Indiana is a very scrappy team, they're a very collective team. They are also another team that's very well coached. I still gotta say Miami because Eric Spoelstra just knows what he's doing on the defensive end. He knows how to coach this team on the defensive end, and then offensively, Miami's one of the better 3-point shooting teams in the league. When you got guys like Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, when you got Kendrick Nunn, you got plenty of elite shooters, and then defensively, Bam Adebayo's become a very great rim protector. Jimmy Butler is a great on-ball defender. This team is very scrappy. I'm telling you, look out for the Miami Heat in the next 2 years. Look, let them get a big marquee free agent again, and I'm telling you, they're going to be making some noise. They're a very dark horse team. Miami's a dark horse team. I'm just saying it right now. So Miami 4-1. Now, let's get on to the Western Conference. The much anticipated matchup that everybody's watching for, the Lakers and the Blazers. All right. This might upset some people when I say this. Because I respect Damian Lillard, even though I made that rant video about him 2 years ago, he really shut me up ever since that video. But this is only because I give respect for Damian Lillard. I'm giving Portland 1 game. They're going out in 5. If Damian Lillard doesn't go off and have one of those games, then Portland's getting swept. And at best, they're going out in 5. This is not going to be a 6 or 7 game series like everybody tries to make it out to be. This is not going to be a 7 game series. Do not believe Stephen A. Smith. Do not believe him. I'm sorry. That was the worst hot take he ever came up with. I have to see from where the Lakers stand defensively against guards, because I have to see how locked in they are, and then LeBron, to me, is just going to dominate that series, because I don't think personally it would be smart for the Blazers to put Carmelo onto LeBron, because even though you don't have Trevor Ariza, which is another reason why I don't give the Blazers much of a chance, because Trevor Ariza is that defensive forward that you could throw onto LeBron to somewhat slow him down. But I just don't see a way that LeBron is going to get stopped when he's playing against his Blazers team. And then when LeBron gets going, he's going to find Anthony Davis, and when those two are clicking, then let Danny Green make his shots, let Kuzma go off, and this team is just going to blow Portland right out the water. And Portland, they rely so heavily on the success of Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. And it's not like one of them is not going to go off in this series. I really do believe that Damian Lillard might average more than 30 in this series. I would really do believe that, but I think it would be a somewhat tougher 30 than people are going to realize, because CJ McCollum might have to have more of those nights where he has to be super aggressive like he did against Memphis. Oh, sorry, I hit my mic. And CJ McCollum is a killer, but I just don't see, if the Lakers are locked in defensively and they're making the perimeter shots, which is the only weakness that people seem to be calling out. And if the Lakers are making the perimeter shots, I think this series is a wrap. So like I said, yeah, Lakers, if the Blazers don't show up from the jump, Lakers in 4, but at best, because I'm giving Dame his respect, he might be able to steal a game. So I'll say Lakers in 5. Now on to the 2-7 matchup. Clippers Mavericks. All right. A lot of people are undermining this matchup very much, which is one thing I can't really stand, because it's just highly disrespectful that you had an MVP caliber player on a 7th seed team. And to me, honestly, I would say this series is going 6, because I truly do believe the Mavericks can take 2 games. I say Clippers in 6, because the Clippers just have way too many wing defenders, and the Dallas Mavericks really love to play and run their offense through the perimeter, and you're just falling right into Clippers' hands. But the Dallas Mavericks, the person that needs to step up in this series is got to be Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis needs to show that dominance as a big man, because that's one thing that the Clippers don't have. They don't have that big man that could slow down Porzingis. I don't care what anybody says. They could talk about, they got Montrezl Harrell, they got Ivica Zubac. No, Porzingis is that special of a big man that he could pick up his own shot. He could pull up from the top of the key. It's just, if he shows that talent, that potential talent that he has, he could give the Clippers at least a little bit of a problem. But he has to stop relying on so many jumpers. Get your butt to the paint. You're falling right into the Clippers' hands. But at the end of the day, you got Kawhi, you got PG, you got Lou Will. They could all create their own shots. Most likely Montrezl Harrell is going to be back, and you're going to have that Lou Will, Montrezl Harrell pick and roll, and most likely Patrick Beverley is going to try to find a way to lock down Luka Doncic some way, somehow, even though Luka might put up 30 and Patrick Beverley will still say he locked him down. The logic of that. But anyway, I got Clippers in 6. On to the next matchup. We got Denver and Utah. Okay. Before I heard the news that Mike Conley might miss the first 2 games, that Mike Conley's going to miss the first 2 games to see the birth of his son. By the way, congratulations. And I was gonna say Denver in 6, but Denver might jump Denver could really take advantage of this. And I hate to say it like that, but they could take advantage of the fact that Mike Conley is not going to be around for the first two games of the series, because Denver and Utah have had some tough games this season, but with the rise of Michael Porter Jr., oh my God, how many people slept on him? I just can't emphasize the fact, and I've been mentioning this on my Instagram, on how many people slept on Michael Porter Jr., and now he's showing that talent that he has. He's showing that I'm telling you, he could be the next KD with how much potential he can have. Now, I'm not saying that he gonna make the KD same decisions, but I'm saying his scoring aspect, he could be the next great players, one of the next great players next to Giannis and Luka Doncic, man. It's like he just elevates this Denver team so much because they're finally giving him that opportunity that I've been begging for them to give him. Give him that playing time that he needs, because he is so gifted offensively. He pulls up with such confidence. He's not afraid of a challenge. And to me, that's going to be the X factor with Denver in this playoff run. So I still got Denver. I got Denver in 6, and Nikola Jokic is going to do his thing. Jamal Murray is going to do his thing. I actually enjoy watching this Denver team a little bit when I see them play, because the playbook is very interesting. They draw up some very interesting plays, and Jamal Murray, he's one of my favorite guards to watch. I like watching Jamal Murray a lot. He's very streaky. When he gets hot, it almost he just really can't miss. So, in Utah, you got Donovan Mitchell, you got Rudy Gobert, you got Jordan Clarkson. They're gonna have to get very, very streaky with their shooting, and defensively, you gotta be very. You can't lack communication. You can't lack communication when it comes on defense, because of the elite firepower that Denver has. And when you don't have Mike Conley for the first two games, and Mike Conley he was balling since the restart began. He was pretty much ass throughout the whole regular season, but then when the restart began, Mike Conley really did start balling out again. So I'll give Mike Conley that. So I think if he would have made a difference in this playoff series if he was available for the first two games. But since he isn't, for very important family matters and for the birth of his son, is, to me, Donovan Mitchell has got to step up even more. Even though I will give Utah this. I'll give Utah this. Quinn Snyder knows how to coach this team. This team is very tough. This team is very tough. Like, you couldn't have a tougher matchup than Utah. If it comes to a Western Conference team, especially if there was home court advantages and all that, I would never want to play Utah in the first round. And I'm not just saying that to try to gas them up, but like, if they had their whole team with Bogdanovich and all them guys, I would say this series could have possibly gone 7. This series could have gone 7, but since they don't have those pieces, I'm gonna say Denver in 6. Now, oh my God, the series that I'm interested in watching, when the Houston Rockets and Oklahoma City Thunder. Who would have thought that these two would have matched up in the first round? Who would have thought? Like, seriously, who would have thought that this would have been the matchup? We got CP3 with a possible chance to knock out the Houston Rockets. And the Houston Rockets were hit with a blow because now Russell Westbrook is going to miss the start of the series. And who knows how long Westbrook is going to be out. And since the Rockets are running this super small ball lineup, which is basically made for Westbrook, which is A lot of people forget that this lineup was made for Westbrook so that he doesn't have that big man clock in the paint. They are very undersized now. James Harden has got to step up like crazy in this series because the Oklahoma City Thunder are another insanely tough team. CP3 has really made that team a very competitive playoff team. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Danilo Gallinari, Andre Roberson being back and healthy, which is going to be another good wing defender that you could throw at James Harden. That's just insane. That's just insane. James Harden has really got to step up in this series because, to me, Steven Adams for the Oklahoma City Thunder has got to eat. Steven Adams got to eat in that paint. I'm being completely honest. Steven Adams has to dominate in this series. You're gonna have PJ Tucker on you. PJ Tucker, you should really outmatch him in strength. There shouldn't be much of a challenge. But then this is basketball, and we could say all we want, and it might not go as we say it goes. So if Westbrook has to miss more than 2 games, to me, Houston, we got a problem. Houston, we got a problem. If you don't have Westbrook for more than 2 games, Oklahoma City could take some serious advantage. And Chris Paul not having to deal with Westbrook, that's just a plus on his side. And because of how great of a floor general CP3 is, and he's never forget how deadly his mid-range jumper is. His mid-range jumper and his three-point jumper are still there. A lot of people thought he fell off, but no, he still got it. He still got it. But if the Rockets had Westbrook, I would say Rockets in 6. But I'm saying right now, this series is going 7. This series is going 7. I think by the time Westbrook gets back, this is going to become a 7-game series. So this one's a tough one to predict. So I'll let you guys decide in the comment section who you think is going to win in that series between Houston and Oklahoma City. I say this series is going 7. I really want to say Houston, but I'm really rooting for CP3. I'm really rooting for him because I got so tired of people making him the scapegoat for what happened in the past 2 years with Houston. So, to me, if Oklahoma City pulls off the upset and knocks out the Rockets in the first round, I'll just be happy for CP3. But if we're being completely honest, James Harden should be able to get them past the first round. He should be, right? So James Harden's expectations are beyond unbelievable now because now this is you going all in. You gotta win a title with this small ball lineup. That is the challenge for this Rockets team. So I'm gonna say Rockets in 7. Rockets in 7. This is going 7 games because Westbrook will be back, and then Westbrook is going to be that X factor mismatch because I don't think anybody in Oklahoma City is going to be able to stay in front of Westbrook. So yeah, to me that matchup is going 7. Now let's head to the second round. So I'm going to start with the Western Conference first, and then I'm going to get to the. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do another video after the whole first round is over. So yeah, I'm gonna do it like that. You'll get my takes after each of the games today. I'll have a whole video based on the games tomorrow. So yeah, that's it for today. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell if you like basketball content. This is your boy Jay Varsity. Again, enjoy that we're getting playoff basketball, and take care of yourselves. Wear your mask and all that. Whatever side you're on when it comes to that. Anyway, I'm out. Peace.
We got some non-believers out there.
Make believers out of non-believers. Make believers out the overseers. Make them bow down.